Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we'll be going over a quick overview of Garou, Mock of the Wolves. This of course is the ACA Switch version, being recorded and captured. This game is often compared to Street Fighter 3, especially because of the tightness of the gameplay, the responsiveness, the fluidity of the animation. But unlike Street Fighter 3 from Capcom, this game, and as I mentioned before, just the wizards over at SNK were able to get this tightness and fluidity of animation all on the same board, original hardware that was originally released in 1989. So whereas again, Capcom has gone through three iterations of their fighting board, CPS-1, CPS-2, and CPS-3, so definitely an amazing feat there. The play mechanics for Garou Mark of the Wolves is very tight. It's probably one of the best playing fighting games that SNK has ever produced. It definitely feels very much superior and different than the original Fatal Fury series. I think really the only series that's second to to Garou would be the Real Bout Fatal Fury series in regards to design and everything else. The kind of storyline for Garou Mark of the Wolves takes place in the future. As you saw in the intro, Terry did try to save Geese, but of course Geese still wants to, live and not be pitied due to his pride, and basically fell to his death. Towards that, Terry felt really guilty and has decided to take Rock, Geese's abandoned son, under his wing, kind of his protege, and adopted him. So Rock will have quite a few moves that are, of course, his own, and also a mix of Terry and Geese's. It does begin with a brand new plot. The new boss of this game is Kine R. Heinlein. Basically rose to the crime boss as far as in Geese's absence, and actually has filial ties with Rock based on his mother. Rock Howard, of course, is again pretty much the new protagonist for this series. And out of the 12 playable characters, actually the only returning one from the old series is Terry Bogard. Everybody else is fairly new. There are, of course, some variations that have similarities to characters of the past or previous games. For example, Kim Kap-hwan's twin sons are actually in this game, and each of the brothers basically take a different aspect of Kim's movesets as he's had them through the Fatal Fury, Real Bout series, and of course even King of Fighters. Well, there definitely have been some updated and gameplay changes. As I mentioned, the gameplay is much tighter, it's more fluid, smoother as well. And also gone is the plane switching system, which honestly in the original first three games was pretty annoying. It was actually only really, I would say, part of the gameplay with the Real Bout series. That said, I am glad they went to this system, so this way with the 4 attack buttons, 2 punches, 2 kicks, there's no question of what you're trying to launch with a strong power attack, whether that strong attack is a punch or a kick. Of course, there's some other things like the back hop, there's a short jump, long jump, of course everybody can dash, run. You can also just defend by hitting back at the last possible instant right before the attack hits. It's very similar to the parry system in Street Fighter 3, where you would parry or press forward right when attack hits in Street Fighter 3. For Garou, you press back right at the moment of impact. Desperation moves when your life is critical is completely gone now, but you do have S and P power moves. Super meter pretty much builds like normal, like King of Fighters. Basically, they stock each time you hit or get hit. There's also other changes to the system as well. So if you were to press A and C buttons while either pressing up or down, there's also some feints along to the specials as well. Once they do get powered up, some of the specials actually activate with a few extra frames or moves of animation. There's also some kind of basically a breakable move. What happens when your animation is completely stopped and you get whiffed, of course, get punished. If you block too much, there's also kind of a little bit of a guard crush as well. It's not quite as visibly um, displayed as it is in, say, Street Fighter when that's about to happen. Also, in regards to the just defend as well, it actually, the nice part is it's actually to cancel your just defend and put it right into a super, even while airborne. So that's actually pretty amazing. Another element they've added to this series is called the Tactical Offensive Positioning System, or TOP. Basically, when selecting your character, you can actually select at which point in their life bar this TOP system would activate. Basically, you can activate it at the beginning, middle of your life bar, or at the end of your life bar. Basically, it gives you a small buff, but of course, you get a little bit of extra damage, things of that nature. The attacks are stronger, and even your health kind of replenishes a little slowly. So it adds an extra little element, especially when you're facing other fighters. Or do you prefer getting that stronger attack at front, really kind of punish your opponent, or save it to like a semi-desperation move? Ensure that if you are running low, that your attacks, as your health diminishes, will start to recover slightly near the end. So great, definitely another kind of gameplay element and another strategy added to the gameplay itself. And of course, as I mentioned, SNK has definitely increased their graphical upgrades with each and every game. The amazing steps that they've taken on the same exact hardware is jaw-dropping. The animation, the ambiance, atmosphere, style of the characters. As you can see with this background stage for this Bell stage here, you can see the pigeons flying back and forth. Characters are still fluidly animated. Special effects are amazing. Definitely no delay in between the move sets itself. Gameplay is completely tight. There's even cameos in other stages as well. Each character even has two hidden animations. They can either by holding left or right, and these are they're win animations by pushing the start button and then left or right. Each character does, of course, as I mentioned earlier, is very much tied to the gameplay, especially when it comes to the just defend mechanics. So there's definitely no delay or lag in response. There were several ports of Mark of the Wolves released, of course, back in the day. This 15, 16-year-old game that was released on Dreamcast, which was pretty close, but of course there were still some errors, some delay and lag issues with control, and as far as the sound effects lagged a little bit. The Neo Geo versions at that time was still definitely the best way to play it, though pretty pricey. It's pretty much remained steady for the last couple years, at least the last 2-3 years, between $900 to about $1,500 if you're looking for the Japanese AES version. If you were to look for the American AES version, it does get priced quite a bit higher, as of course they've made less cartridges in the United States. This version of the game was also released on PS2 with a special fight stick, Neo Geo fight stick that actually is red in color. Pretty handy and extremely made very well. Last time I was looking on eBay, you could pick it up right around $150 to $180, which would be great if you have an adapter. But if you don't, of course, can play this with any of the modern sticks to play this game on PS4, PS3. It's also available, of course, on Xbox. This version here is the Switch, so I mainly use the Hori fight sticks. And as mentioned earlier, you've got Terry Bogard, who's the only returning Fatal Fury character in Mark of the Wolves. Definitely older, and I'm still hoping that SNK brings a skin version of him with the leather jacket, without the baseball cap, to King of Fighters 15, as it's definitely due. You've got Rock Howard, first introduced, of course, in Fatal Fury 3 when he was a child, after Terry adopted him. You've got Kim Dong-hwan, who is one of Kim Kap-hwan's twin sons. Kim Jae-hoon, also one of Kim's sons. Hotaru Futaba. Marco Rodriguez, or Kushnud Butt, depending if you're using the American or Japanese version of the game. Hokuto Maru, a young ninja. Kevin Ryan as a SWAT team member. Of course, Griffin Mask, or Tizok, depending again if you use the American or Japanese version. You've also got Gato, Bon Jeanette, Freeman, and you've got two bosses, Grant and Kane Heinlein, the main boss of the series for this game. Now, this game for me pretty much has it all, and it's easily one of the top 5 fighting games of all time when it comes to, uh, you know, old school fighting games from SNK and Capcom. Arc Systems, of course, is part of that, especially with their amazing animation. But if when it comes to the gameplay, the graphics, the sound, the characters, the variety, definitely Garou the Mark of the Wolves hits all those targets. There was a rumored sequel, tentatively titled Mark of the Wolves 2, that was, I believe, rumored from about 2001 or 2002, that was over half completed before it was canceled. I'm hoping SNK reevaluates its lineup and especially its IP and returns and creates a sequel. I honestly would love if they were able to do sprite work again, but this time in high res, or maybe approach it like Arc Systems using Unreal Engine 4 with 3D that looks 2D, as long as of course it keeps the tight gameplay. And I would love to see all the characters in this game, all 12, plus the 2 bosses, and some other returning older characters like Andy, Joe, Mai, Yamazaki, Billy Kane, just to see what happened in the future series in the Fatal Fury world. I would completely love to see that. If you haven't tried this out, it's definitely not hard to play or check out. It's pretty much everywhere. You can get it free on Amazon Prime Gaming if you're an Amazon Prime member. You can get it on ACA games, both on PS4, Xbox, and the Switch. You can also get it on Steam as well. On the Switch, it has often gone down to $4.99. Currently, it's about $7.99, which is a complete steal, especially if you're trying to compare it to the AES version of the game at around $900 to $1,500. If you were able to catch it from either Pixel Love or Limited Run Games, they did release a PS4 collector's version with either a snap lock case, very akin to how it was released back in back in the 2000s from Pixel Love in Europe, or it would be more of a kind of a clamshell box case from LRG if you were able to pick that up. Of course, unfortunately, those have now sold out, so you'd have to go to either Marketplace or quote-unquote the Evil Bay in order to get those versions. Thanks very much for watching. Please like and subscribe. The next game that I'll be doing an overview for is Galaxy Fight. And then after that, I might switch it out and maybe do a little Ninja Commando or Nightmare in the Dark. Again, please like and subscribe. And let me know if you'd like to see any other Neo Geo games.